Anyway, tonight we are going to be talking about really simple and effective things that you can do at home that's really focusing on being present with your children and just thinking about doing those things that you wouldn't actually think. Oh, hi, hello, how are you? I'm glad you're jumping on. Good evening. Is it Elkie? Elkie? Tell me if I'm saying that wrong, okay? Because I don't want to pronounce people's names wrong. Okay, now, and the reason that I'm using my... Oh, good. I'm glad I'm saying your name right. Hello from Berlin. Hello. So nice to see you here. I was very excited when I saw you join the group because I knew that you had registered. So it's great. Hello from Berlin. Beautiful. Am I saying your name right? Elkie? Is it? I'm sure it's probably wrong. So, yeah, the reason that I'm doing it on my phone, and I'm sorry if it's a bit wobbly and stuff, name is fine, and it's morning there. Nice. Well, it is, 7:30 p.m. here in Australia. Yeah, the reason am not doing it on my computer is because my chair sits really low, so it looks like I'm super duper short. And oh yeah, and we may see my cat because she likes to be involved. Hang on, this is Rowena, and Rowena likes to be involved in everything, so I'm sorry about that in advance. Yeah, so here she comes, and she'll do this. She'll be right up in my face. Just sit down, please. Up off there. Off you go. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'll get started. So what we're going to talk about tonight is just using really simple, effective things by doing routine things. So when it's as simple as when we are with our kids and we're washing their hands, that can be a really good time to use it as a mindful activity. So, you know, when you get the child, your child at the tap, and obviously this is for younger children. I mean, you can encourage older children to do this as well. It's even nice for you to do it yourself. So you can get your child at the tap and turn the water on like to a kind of a slow, really steady kind of flow. And then I would get them to, you know, put their hands underneath and just let their hands sit there for a minute and feel what the water feels like, you know, encouraging them to feel whether the water's smooth, whether the water feels a bit cold, whether it's warm, whether it's, you know, nice on their skin, or it's, you know, making them feel a bit freezing or a bit too warm. And then maybe getting some soap and lathering up their hands and getting them to like really lather and get the soap all going. This cat is going to drive me nuts. Get the soap going and then get them to look at their hands and to look at the lines that are on their hands and get them to really have a look at what their hands look like when they're all covered in soap. Get them to see how many lines they can see. Get them to see what it looks like when you know, smooth the soap out on their hands. Get them to feel what it feels like. Is it slimy? Is it soft? What does it smell like? Those kinds of things. And then again, when you're, you know, putting their hands back under the water, what does it look like as the soap's drizzling off their hands? What does it look like in the sink? Is there lots of bubbles? Is there no bubbles? And getting them to really focus on, you know, that. And then also when you go, you know, turning off the tap, getting the towel and feeling how it feels when their hands dry. Is the towel rough? Is the towel really smooth? Is it really fluffy and warm? How do their hands feel after washing their hands? So that's just a really, how many times do they wash their hands? Seriously? Getting them to wash their hands and doing that kind of a practice gets them to really be in the present moment, focusing on exactly what's happening at that present time. And it's good for you too, because you can do it with them excuse me, putting your hands under the water with them and feeling what it feels like when both of your hands are under there. You know, what does it look like when you put your finger in the tap? Does the color change? Can you see, you know, the color of your finger in the stream of the water? Those kinds of things. We do have to be mindful of water restrictions. Just going to add that in there. I'm just going to have another sip of my coffee, sorry. But using such a simple and effective routine such as that, in, you know, making it a chance to be a mindful activity, it's really actually going to be quite calming, especially, you know, as you're letting the water, you know, when you just put it on a really sort of slow sort of a flow, it's really, really nice and soothing and calming to do that as well. Also, brushing the teeth, same kind of thing, just getting them to feel the toothbrush in their mouth, going over every tooth. Does it soap up? What does it taste like? Just, you know, really asking a lot of questions, getting them to really focus on what's going on. Does their tongue feel funny? Does it feel a little bit hot? Those kinds of things. So that's really being mindful in just general routine situations. Another thing is, you know, going outside. It is so important to get your children outside. It is, you know, so important to go out there in the cold, in the wet, in the, you know, the heat, in the beautiful temperatures as well, and get them outside, get that vitamin D on, you know, that sun on their skin, get the vitamin D soaking in and getting them, you know, in the sunshine, in the fresh air, soaking up everything around them. There is so much energy that comes from being outdoors, being from trees and from the grass and from the earth and from the sounds and the bird song, and all of that stuff really makes an impact to their energy and to their mood. They can be so much happier from just being outside. I know, you know, a few times, especially working in my office here, I will often get a bit stir crazy, and so what I want to do is I just stand up, I go outside and I take off my shoes. I have been a person that wears shoes all the time, like literally jump out of bed, put on my shoes. Since I've started really using energy and connecting to the earth, I've really started taking my shoes off and really, you know, planting down and grounding. So getting out, getting in the grass, taking my shoes off and just planting my feet on the earth and imagining that beautiful energy, that vibrant energy coming up through my feet. Kids will just feel the energy without you even telling them that, but getting them outside, you know, getting them to walk around the yard with you, walk around the garden, having a look at leaves. So looking at a leaf, you know, maybe you would pick a leaf and then you would talk about the color. You would talk about having a look at the lines that are in the you know, in the leaf. Hi, Corinne. Having a look at the lines that are within the leaf, seeing, you know, all the different patterns, seeing if the leaf smells, seeing if it has a funny texture, or if it's zigzagged on the outside, whether it has a smooth leaf or a rough leaf. All those kinds of things. Being really, really present and really, really focused, getting them to look at the bark on the trees and seeing what it feels like. Is it a smooth bark tree? Is it a rough bark tree? You know, having a look for bugs, looking around for different things, listening to the sounds. Can you hear any birds? Can you hear anything else? Really taking the moment to sit and just be very quiet and just to listen. Can you hear traffic? Can you hear crickets? Can you hear the breeze in the trees? Can you feel the breeze on your skin? Those kinds of things, super easy, so accessible to everybody, but really a beautiful, beautiful way to get your child connected, to also bring them back to a nice, calming, grounding energy. So getting outside is really going to help children ground their energy. You know how they sometimes get super hyper and super, especially when they've been watching TV or they've been playing video games or anything like that. It's a really nice way to sort of, you just get them outside, get them feet on the earth, really taking in deep breaths and noticing their surroundings. Also, I could talk a lot about screen time and look, I know it definitely serves a purpose, especially around that time when you're trying to get things done and you need 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm moving my cat again. But I think screen time has a lot to do with behavior issues. You notice, when you try and take them off screens, how agitated they become. It's not really normal. And I even know when we used to play like Nintendo, going back in the day, there was this stupid digger caveman game, I don't know, we used to play. Me and my brother used to get so angry. We were like raging. And it was, back then, and we'd pretty much be on it for an hour during the day because the rest of the time we'd been outside, but it just makes you a crazy person. So now I can only imagine. I know what I would get like after I've been in front of the screen for a long time. I get really agitated and just, a bit antsy. So I can only imagine what kids feel like as well. So another thing would be to really focus on food. So when you're having a meal, sitting down with the kids. I do talk a lot, well, not a lot, but I talk a bit about mindful eating within my course, which is really quite good for fussy eaters. I know that fussy eaters, sometimes there's just no getting past that, and I totally understand that. I have seen kids in my service, they just don't eat stuff and they just won't, and it is what it is. Sometimes it could be a sensory issue, sometimes it could be even an allergic sort of, or an intolerance, but also trying though to get kids to eat. Even though they're a fussy eater, there's ways to sort of do it. And I do talk about mindful eating within the course, which I will be sharing with you later on. It's a parents online course, which will sort of follow this if anyone wants to get it. But it's just like a deeper look at all the things that we kind of talk about. I wanted to go over the really ones that were really, really important and that you can start implementing like today into your household, so that it's, a more calm, more balanced state in your house environment. So sitting down at the table, looking at the plate, looking at the different colors, looking at the different textures, seeing if they crunch or they smush, or, you can crush them up, or whether, talking about where they came from. So where did these different vegetables come from? Is this meat, a cow, sheep, whatever, chicken? Did this food have to travel? Was it grown from the ground? Those kinds of things. Having your kids grow your own veggies, that is like amazing. Getting them to grow stuff so that then they really want to taste it because they've actually done it. So absolutely a really, really good tool to use as well. No worries, Tempany. No worries at all. That's what I said. I think maybe I need to start. Do you guys think that 8 o'clock is a better time? It's only because I don't have little kids anymore that I just am not mindful of the time. Let me know though in the comments, and maybe tomorrow we can do it at 8. Excuse me. Yes, so that's another good way. Also, another good thing is even just simply brushing their hair, having them sit with you while you brush their hair. My dad used to do that, and it was the most beautiful experience. He used to say to me, now, you're not allowed to move because I have to brush your hair 100 times. So he would just brush my hair. It's one of my fondest memories as an adult, like as a child with my dad. Like it is, I still think about it today. So, you know, just sitting with the kids and just even saying that I have to brush your hair 100 times, you know, you can make it really shiny, but it's spending time with them, touching them, using, you know, it's a beautiful, especially if it's a nice bristle brush, you know, massaging the head, doing those kinds of things. Also, when they're showering, you can, especially if they're big kids, I don't think they really want you to go in the shower with them, but, you know, just talking about, you know, if they have in the bath, like lathering up and different body parts and talking about what their body parts do, how they benefit them, what they can do with their body parts, making them aware and connecting to themselves and to their bodies so that they know that you know, their hands can help them do so many different things, and their eyes, and, you know, their skin, what their skin is good for, what their legs and their arms, and what your stomach does, and the inside of your stomach, those kinds of things. Having those kind of conversations with your children and really getting them to connect with who they are and what their body does for them is a really, really great tool as well. So those are just a few simple things that you can do, just regular routine things that you can, you know, really tap in and be mindful for. There is so many different ones that you could do, just looking at a basic routine. You know, driving in the car with the kids, having conversations about, you know, what's outside, looking around, being mindful of what's going on. Just any situation, you can definitely turn around and be present and be focused and be mindful. A lot of us tend to be thinking about the past or the future, and we're not living in the present moment. So it's really great to help your kids to focus on the present moment as well, and get them really into the habit of, you know, being super mindful and super present. So if anyone has any questions, I will shut up and let you ask me some questions. I'll just have a sip of my coffee. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me anything. What is everyone seeming to be struggling with? I know that a few people have jumped off because they've got to get kids ready for bed and things like that. But if you have a question or you have something that's really kind of pressing with the kids, an issue or something, let me know in the comments, and I can help you out somehow with, you know, like answering questions or anything like that. Because sometimes, you know, maybe it's anxiety that you're struggling with, maybe it's getting the kids to actually interact with you. It could be lots and lots of different things. So I don't know everyone's situation, so it's really good to sort of share here, and that way we can open up discussions about what would be a really good tool to use in that circumstance. So I'd love to hear you know, any ideas or anything that people are struggling with, so that I can help you out with maybe some tools and different techniques, and that way it'll open up some more dialogue about different things that we can do. But I hope that you enjoyed tonight's masterclass. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get back to them. But I will move tomorrow to 8 o'clock. I feel that it's probably a bit of a better time. And if everyone's cool with that, then I'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Goodbye.